For completeness, I've crossed the estuary. We're looking down on the cove, and if I pan round, you can see just into view now the viewpoint that I had on my earlier video. It's undoubtedly that I've travelled here on the original track which led to the hamlet. What I'm not certain about is access to the coast where you would have moored or taken ashore the boats. I'm not sure how that was achieved. More likely it was via some remuneration to the landowner. After the Settlements Act, rights of way were installed in Scotland so that people weren't isolated, so that they could actually get some form of living. But I'm not absolutely sure how it worked in Scotland at that particular time. That would need more research. But of course, fishing I think was very important. If you weren't able to catch the fish yourself, which you could do if you gained access to part of the coast, because fishing by line from the beach, well, it's not a beach, from the rocks, is viable. Also, the crustacea is it's very predominant here, so that would also be an alternative. But of course, catching protein from the sea takes a lot less effort than protein from meat. That's why meat was always more expensive. Fish was always looked upon as a poor food, purely and simply because you just caught it and you had to retail it. It's a very interesting microcosm of an economy here. I think by the early industrial age it had disappeared, and the more remoter settlements were able to retain it because there was the potential of being self-sustainable with a surplus. The agricultural fields are lined with a stone brick wall. It's quite common because of the clearance of the stones from the fields. They were put to use to form a wall, and it was probably hedged as well on one side, although I'm just making that up. Stone walls are always an indication. I think these fields are quite large, and before then, for hand tillage, the fields would have been smaller, probably on the ridge and strip principle, because it would have been predominantly, almost exclusively, by hand labour.